Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, David here, and welcome back to another video. And of course, I have to talk about the Game Awards, Persona, the lack of actual Persona news at the event. Lots of people, definitely myself included, were hoping for some sort of Persona announcement at the Game Awards, which is the biggest gaming event of the year nowadays. Now that E3 is dead, the event with the most viewership. ATLUS was there with a lot of nominations for different categories, especially for Metaphor, which was nominated for 5 categories if I'm not mistaken, and Unicorn Overlord as well, which was nominated for 1. They won 3 awards. I'm happy with that, including Best RPG of the Year for freaking Metaphor. It's awesome. Of course, Unicorn Overlord was snubbed for whatever a Frostpunk 2 is in Best Strategy Game, but it's alright. It's not a big deal who wins these awards anyways. But what happened is no news, no new announcement, no Persona 5 The Phantom X worldwide release announcement, no Persona 6 announcements either. But today I want to focus on Persona 6. What's going on? I mean, I've been very clear saying that, hey, I think Persona 6 is going to release in 2025, and what I want to figure out today is there still hope for a Persona 6 announcement soon and for Persona 6 to release in 2025. I always hear people saying, you're crazy, 2025, blah, blah. Persona 5 came out in 2017, y'all. So if Persona 6 releases next year, it's been 8 years since the last mainline release. If you want to count Royal, 6 years, because Royal dropped in 2019. And I'm talking about Western releases here. That's a lot. That's a lot. I know it took a long time before Persona 4 to Persona 5. We're about there once again. So I have a few things that I want to discuss today, and ATLUS really changed their ways of announcing games nowadays versus when Persona 5 came out. So I have a lot of things to discuss, so let's get right into it. I'll be straight up. After thinking and researching a little bit for today's video, I'm not so sure about a 2025 release for Persona 6. Sadly, I am still all in for a blowout of information about Persona 6 next year. I think we're gonna see the game, we're gonna see the logo, we're gonna see the main character, we're gonna have a date, and we're gonna see gameplay by the end of 2025 for sure. Probably even hands-on experiences for a few people out there next year. That's what I'm thinking. The release, 2026 now. That's where I'm at, and for a lot of reasons. I think the first reason is, and it feels insane to say, 2026 is going to be the 30th anniversary of Persona. Think about that for a second. That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So they're going to start Persona 30th probably in September. Persona 30th sounds like a great opportunity to release Persona 6. I still think they can announce it beforehand though in 2025. So the way that ATLUS used to do things beforehand is they used to announce games very early before launch, and I don't think they want to replicate that with Persona 6. Fans were extremely mad with Persona 5, with the game being delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed from 2013 to 2016 when it dropped. People were mad because you dated it way too early, you showed it way too early, and I think they want to avoid that at all costs with Persona 6. It made people mad, and at some point when you're looking forward to a certain game, and you keep looking forward to it, and looking forward to it, it gets delayed, and it never happens, well, people are mad, and they're like, well, fuck it, I'm moving on, I don't care anymore. And I don't think they want that. Another game that has to be mentioned is Shin Megami Tensei 5. SMT 5 was painful. If you were there, it was painful. They revealed it in January of 2017, and it released in November of 2021. That's crazy. And it was silence from January of 2017 until July of 2020. Silence. Crazy stuff. People were mad. People were saying that the game was canceled. On every single one of my videos before July 2020 talking about SMT 5, I would get people saying, the game's canceled. You stop talking about it, it's canceled. No more SMT. Persona killed SMT, remember that? So they don't want to replicate that. I'm pretty sure about that. So let's look. What I want to do is I want to look at 2024 ATLUS releases, when they were revealed versus when they dropped, and how much time in between do we have to then do an average, and try and see how much time we're gonna have from the reveal of Persona 6 to release, okay? Let's get into it. February, Persona 3 Reload. P3 Reload dropped in February 2024, February of this year. The game was revealed in June of 2023 at Summer Games Fest, one of Jeff Keighley's event. 8th month between the reveal to release. March, Unicorn Overlord. Some of y'all are going to say, David, that's Vanillaware. Yep, Atlus published though, so they take care of the release. Unicorn Overlord was revealed in September of 2023 in a Nintendo Direct, and 6 months later, it released in March of 2024. So we're 8 months for Reload, 6 months for Unicorn Overlord. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance dropped this year in June. It was also revealed this year in February during a Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase. Think about that for a second. That is a 4 months gap between the original reveal to release. Oh, but David, you're talking about a remake, you're talking about a Vanillaware game, you're talking about Shin Megami Tensei, a re-release of SMT5. Let's talk about Metaphor ReFantazio then. Metaphor, I am not going to look at the original reveal, which was in 2015 as Project ReFantasy. The game started full-scale development like 5 years after that, so let's not count that first reveal. I am looking at the first re-reveal of ReFantasy when it was finally called Metaphor ReFantazio. So that was revealed alongside Persona 3 Reload in June 2023 during Summer Games Fest, during the Microsoft Xbox Game Showcase. So from the reveal to release, 16 months. Okay, so this is the longest gap, and for the biggest game. Persona 6, very big game for sure. So should we expect a 16 months gap? I don't know. Let's do an average of these 4 games. Let's do an average of these 4 gaps between reveal to release, and we get 8 months and a half, which means that if Atlus would have revealed Persona 6 at the Game Awards, and we're using that theory here, it would release in August of 2025. Let's speculate here. What would be the best time to release Persona 6 if it releases in 2025? September or October, or even November of 2025. This is the season. Persona is big enough to be released in these months like Metaphor, and it's gonna break records if it releases during these months. Plus, Switch 2 will be out by then. If they want it on Nintendo at launch, there you go. It's gonna be hot at that point for sure. Makes sense. So let's do October in the middle. October 2025, that means they would have to reveal it in February. Interesting when you start to think about it. So we might be close to a reveal. If, like I unfortunately think, they're not going to release it in 2025, when would they reveal it? Well, if they don't release it in 2025, I'm thinking they reveal it right at the start of the 30th anniversary of Persona. So September-ish would be when they would reveal it, which means we would get it like early-ish Q2 2026 for Persona 6. Very hard to speculate on this one at this point. My bet is 2026 at this point. Persona 30th anniversary. Why the hell am I talking about Persona 30th? It feels crazy to do, but that's where we're at this point. So, hey, what do you guys think about Persona 6? Are you bummed out about no news at the Game Awards? Are you still looking forward to Persona 6? I think we all are, of course. But what I'm very curious about is what the hell is Atlus going to do next year? So if there's no Persona 6 next year, there's probably no Persona next year, is my bet. So, SMT? The Raito ports, I think, is probably a safe bet. Etrian Odyssey, maybe? Next year is probably going to be a slow year in terms of releases if P6 does not drop. I was really thinking, and I'm starting again. I was really thinking Persona 6 2025, you don't have much for next year, clearly because of what you dropped this year, because you dropped a bomb and 2024 was your best year ever. So what is going to happen in 2025? I don't know, and I don't want to be negative, but I'm really doubtful that they're going to have a huge year, because how can you top this year? Like, oh my god. One thing that they could do is a DLC for Metaphor. Now that Metaphor did so well, some sort of DLC episode for Metaphor, I can certainly see that. So let's say Raito, Etrian, and DLC for Metaphor next year. Why the fuck not? Makes sense to me. I mean, We'll see. Thank you all so much for watching, y'all. When do you think we're going to see the announcement and reveal of Persona 6? But most importantly, have you given hope on Persona 6 for 2025 or not? Yeah, have a good day, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.